है बादा मस्त बादा आशा में अहमदियत चलता है दौर मीना ओ जाम अहमदियत.
Acha boys, Jazakallah everyone for joining. It's nice to catch up as usual. So we'll start our Khuddam night today. We'll start off with the news with Qasim. So Qasim, you want to tell us, because we have a guest on today, do you want to tell us what K News is all about and what we...
It's literally news. That's it. I mean, literally, I take news from various kind of sections, science, information, uh, and then I just put in anything I find interesting and Khuddam related. I'll present it here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Welcome to this week's K News. Let's start with UK news again, as usual. It's been still very slow, just less than 47 million had first dose, and up from 35 million from 2 weeks ago. We have 38 million now, which have second dose, and 190, about 200,000 have had now confirmed positive case, which is a decrease of like about a 36% from last week's. So it's good, but still, Boris Johnson kind of released a statement that even though they're decreasing, people should still be wary and they should still wear masks and be careful. So more COVID news, just following up from last what I mentioned earlier. There have been 70,000 pings in the app, and that has broken a new record, and is literally about 689,000 from in the week up to 21st July. And then UK more UK is sorry UK's are undergoing disrupted climate change. As you know, last week we had the hottest week. I believe it was the fifth. We've already had the third warmest weather in the UK, and the fifth wettest and eighth sunniest on record. So it clearly shows climate change is having a great impact, and it's going to continue. NHS England has appointed the first female chief executive. Amanda Pritchard is to become the first female chief executive of the NHS in England after being appointed to replace Sir Simon Stevens, and she will step up from 1st of August. Informative news. COVID rules. How can the clinically vulnerable stay safe? This is for people which are more prone to getting COVID. So obviously, there's the basic things about yes, not going outside as much, wearing masks, and just the basics. That's kind of and also kind of keeping less contact with others, and especially if you get COVID, just stay isolated. uh, are middle-aged people more unhealthy than ever? This is an article I found. It talks about how men these days have there's a lot of common side effects. I believe like about one third or half already suffer from obesity or type 2 diabetes or any sort of chronic back pains and stuff. And this is the most common. Me personally, I would say obesity is the vast majority of it, especially with the diet and everything. Even in Asian culture, the obesity is a really common trend. Entertainment news. X Factor ITV has no plans for another series of the show. So if you love X Factor, unfortunately for you, I think it's ending now. The last full series, uh, the last series is there's no video. Don't worry. The last series of Samuel Cowell occurred in 2018. Sorry, someone actually came in my room to deliver some food. Yeah, that's why there's the law back topping. So the last season occurred in 2018. There was plans for 2020, but it got cancelled. And it used to get tens of millions of views, but until 2018, it only got about 5 million views, which is very low. And they're thinking of recasting the people and potentially putting new people in. X Factor is like the singing competition, for those of you who don't know. uh, England's big picture 26 to 1st August. So between these dates, the BBC News have kind of set up an email for you to kind of send fun photos of Birmingham. So if you have any interesting photo that you've taken, don't hesitate to share them. Maybe we should put our mosque photo. I mean, what could get better than that?
Yeah.
Somebody should send a good mosque photo if they have.
Mm.
Especially at nighttime, we get those night lights on, and it really looks really good. Sports news. Olympics, currently we're at sixth place with the five gold medals. Hopefully, inshallah, that changes. China is in first place with 15 gold medals, just following by Japan and America. So yeah, fingers crossed. For Tokyo Olympics, Charlotte Desjardins has set the British record and won the first, and has become the most decorated female Olympian by winning the bronze medal in the 10th individual dressage. And Tom Dean and Duncan Scott have also claimed gold and silver in the individual 200-meter freestyle final, the gold rush in the pool. There was the swimming competition, so they've kind of brought Britain to sixth place. Science news, toxin from world's longest animal can kill cockroaches. So bootleg swarms, which is known to go as long as 50 meters, which is very, very long, even longer than a blue whale, has potential to produce toxins which can kill scientists. Now, me personally, since I'm from Pakistan, we use a very retro and classical thing called a chappal. So you don't need toxins. We just smack the thing up. So I don't see why this is any of use, because we had the classic chopper. We just need that. That's it. There was actually like a mandatory thing in Pakistan where from 9 to 10. I'm not joking. You would actually hear claps and slaps because we would spend the 1 hour killing mosquitoes and cockroaches so they don't annoy us in the night. NASA probe determines Mars' internal structure. And there's a probe that was sent in 2019, and it's been kind of sending quakes and determining Mars's structure. Now, this obviously allows us to kind of think about how the planets were formed and how the bodies were formed, and it allows us to kind of experiment. Uh, so at the moment, what they found is the crust is at least about 17 to 14 kilometers deep, thick. That's how thick it is. So more research is being done. Jeff Bezos last week kind of launches to space, and he has made a short journey to space and the first crewed flight of the rocket ship. And he was accompanied by Mark Bezos, his brother, Wally Funk, an 82-year-old pioneer of space race, and an 18-year-old student. He does not look healthy. I don't. The pic is the wrong pic. They managed to get above the Kármán line, which is an altitude of 100 kilometers. The Kármán line is the point where after that the air becomes so thin that it cannot support life anymore, and that's kind of where we also have said that that's where space starts, and it has able to start. I think this is kind of the new space race. I mean, as you know, like in the 1950s and 60s, we had the space race between America and Russia. I mean, now I guess it's going to be SpaceX and Amazon having a race to see who gets to space first. Uh, so a Canadian Arctic fossil may be the oldest animal ever found, studies suggest. So, and their fossils have found, and so scientists have found a fossil that is about 890 million years ago, and could be the oldest evidence of animal life ever found. And these are the possible remains of an ancient sponge, the skeleton of an ancient sponge. So, in terms of life on Earth, the Earth was probably formed around 3.8 billion years ago, with the first signs of life, i.e., cyanobacteria, forming about 3.5 billion years ago. However, we haven't really found much more evidence and of bacteria living. We haven't found any fossils of 3.5 billion years ago. Also, if we don't know where where life actually started, but this is the oldest fossil that has been found at the moment. Disaster news. So a coroner has ruled that Andrew Devine, who's age 55, who has died 32 years after suffering severe and irreversible brain damage at the Hillsborough in 1989, and there was the unlawful kill, and therefore he is legally the 97th victim of the disaster. For those who don't know, Hillsborough disaster was a disaster in 1989, and it occurred in the stadium. And what happened was there was a match between Liverpool and Nottingham, and what happened was there was a certain platform called Platform Three, and there's quite a lot of documentaries. I'll recommend you watching them. But in summary, what happened was there was a lot of people that ended up in that one platform, and it caused a lot of crush that killed almost 95 people right there. Because due to the immense pressure of the amount of people that was there, and then about a decade later, another person died, which led the toll to 96, and finally this year, July, is finally 97. Yeah, so there we have about 95 people that were crushed. Also, there have been a lot of floods in Afghanistan, Italy, and Germany and Belgium, which have caused a lot of damage. For Germany and Belgium, as we were aware, like 2 weeks ago, we talked about the floods that occurred, and there's a lot of damage, and there's recovery taking place. Jamaat news. Uh, you all know about Great Western Revival has been released. Don't forget to pre-order it. If you're a Khuddam, subscribe to that magazine. Also, Rabi Saab, can you kind of, yeah, I mean, I think I have it too. Yeah, I'm going to. Rabi Saab, can you like tell why should we subscribe to Tariq magazine or buy these books other than, I mean, outside of say, I mean, yeah, it supports the Jamaat and of course it's Jamaati material, but why should we buy these things?
I think you tell us every week, Qasim.
Yeah.
It's a very historical magazine because it was started by Khalifa Rabi's time, and it was for the Khuddam, by the Khuddam. And in it, you'll find a lot of interesting stories and inspirational things which you may not know about. So the writers, they're just like us, everyday Khuddam, but really inspirational things. So do try to subscribe to it. I think if you go to the Khuddam finance website, you can just apply for it. Qasim, could you remind us how much it is again?
£15 per
Oh, yeah.
annual.
Yeah, for the whole year. So it's close to nothing. So definitely worth it because you won't be able to read the stories otherwise. They
Yeah.
only put a few things on the website, but the main stories are inside. So yeah.
And Maribisov, if I can just make a point over here, um, is it a Tariq magazine or the Al Hakam magazine where Subur's the section is in it on racism?
Al-Hakam. Al-Hakam.
Al Hakam.
Yeah. Al-Hakam was started by Hazrat Masih al-Islam. So anything that's in there is, it's truly best. And that was an offshoot of, I think we mentioned it before as well from Al Khuddam a few weeks ago on racism. So it was really nice. I was speaking to one person who works at Al Hakam, and he heard the stories, and he basically said that, any of these stories that you guys talk about in your Khuddam night, let me know. So it's almost like we have a collaboration with Al Hakam now. So if anything like inspirational or something which we talk about is really interesting that we feel that can be shared with the world, then I'll just ask one of you guys to write about it. Then we'll publish it, inshallah. So yeah, it's a landmark thing actually. Alhamdulillah, it's good people to be collaborating with. And of course, Tariq magazine, if they want to take us in, we're ready for that as well.
Yeah, for this week is a zoo. I'll put it up, please. Just hold on.
Jazakallah. I was talking to on that topic. I was talking to Sabur about it, and he was so like overwhelmed when I told him that it's been published, and he like couldn't believe it because the first time he shared it was with us. So for it to go from here to for hundreds of people reading it, it's really amazing.
This
Jazak-
is for this week is a zoo.
of a question and answer session. Hazur, my question is, by the grace of Allah, we have so many books of the promised Messiah Islam, but they can be quite difficult to understand. Hazur, what would you recommend is a good book for young people to read first?
You are quite right that there are quite a number of Islam's books, and most of them, they are very much difficult to understand. But there are some books which are easy to understand, right? Such as Ark of Noah, and even as Muslim has said, that my book, Hakikatul Wahi, is in very easy language and you can understand it. And it has been translated also, I think. Yeah? So you can read these books. But just to develop and create interest in the books of Hazrat Muslim Islam, you should first start reading from the passages of those books which are of your interest. And you can see the content list. And for that, even the Jamaat has also made this easy for you by printing and some selected excerpts and passages of the book from the books of the Muslim Islam in the form of Essence of Islam, right? So they are in 5 volumes, and that covers different topics. So you can just take the book and see the topic of your interest and then read it. By doing this, you will develop and create interest in reading the books of Muslim Islam. And at the same time, you will increase your knowledge also, what Muslim Islam has said, or he wanted us to understand with regards to our religion, with regards to our spiritual enhancement, spiritual level, and with regards to our knowledge and wisdom, right?
So obviously with the lesson here, it's clear that you don't need to start from page 1 to read a book to develop an interest. You can start from any point in the book. You can read passages and then to gain interest. Me personally, I'm reading the 2 books that Hazam Zatar Rahmatullah published, the Divine Revelation, Nationality, Knowledge and Truth, and the book on homeopathy, which, I mean, those are the 2 books I absolutely love. So I love reading them. So yeah, anyone else want to add a point?
Yeah, I think for those people joining first time, I may not have known that we usually cover, in every few weeks, we cover a book of Masimod, which is entitled In His Own Words. So we have a team that cover that as well. So it's really good not only to read a book but to discuss about it as well. So that's our goal, and we've been trying to do that. Alhamdulillah, we managed to finish the section which was all approved for this year of Hakikatul Wahi, thanks to our team, which was really incredible. So inshallah, next year when the next part is approved, then we'll cover that as well. So yeah, Jazakallah for highlighting that. Qasim is a really good point made by Hazur as well, that just because some bits are difficult doesn't mean that should put you off. You should strive to try and understand something or try to develop that love for these books. Jazakallah Qasim, really appreciate the Khuddam news. And we'll move swiftly on. We have a talk which is about to come up, but just before that, I just want to squeeze in the Friday sermon summary. So if I could just ask Zishan to announce who's going to be doing the Friday sermon today.
It's going to be me.
You can announce yourself.
Can you see my screen?
Yes. I like it, 1 page today. That's good.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So as you said, Friday sermon, another Friday sermon on Hazrat Umar. Hazrat Khalifah Masih, the 5th. So I can't see because the Zoom bar at the top. Hazrat Khalifah Masih, the 5th Ayatollah said that he would continue the highlights of the life of Hazrat Umar Radhiyallahu anhu. Mardin was conquered during the era of Hazrat Umar Radhiyallahu anhu. A victory which had been foretold by the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. During the Battle of the Trench, as he was striking a rock which had come in the way whilst digging the trench, the Holy Prophet ﷺ foretold the victory of Islam in Persia at the castles Madain and Yemen, and Yemen at the castles of of Sana. Though at the time, some people jested, saying, "How would the Muslims conquer such great empires?" Yet these were prophecies, all of which would go on to be fulfilled. Hazrat Khalif al-Masih Ayyallahu bin Sayyid Aziz also narrated about the victories of Muslims against the Persians in the battles of Khuzes, Khuzestan, Awaz, and Rumhor and Rumhormuz. It is recorded that one of their leaders, Hormuzan, had said that he had wished for his fate to be decided by Hazrat Umar anhu. When he was taken there and saw Hazrat Umar anhu, Hormuzan asked where Hazrat Umar's bodyguards and servants were, to which he was told that he did not have such things. To this, Hormuzan said that he seemed like a prophet and was told that he followed the examples set by the prophets. Hazrat Umar anhu said that he would only speak to Hormuzan only when he took off all his jewelry and ornaments when he was that he was wearing. Then Hazrat Umar informed him that his fate had been realized because of his dishonesty and treachery. Zaman admitted that the Muslims were victorious against them because they had a united front. Later, Zaman accepted Islam and took up residence in Medina. He would later be consulted in subsequent battles against the Persians. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah, mashallah, Amir, very good. It's good to just highlight a few points, which was said, because sometimes we lose focus or we don't catch things. So it's always good to have someone in the background just picking up a few points and informing us about them. Jazakallah, Amir, Jazakallah, Zishan, and Kashif as well for that. Bang on time. I wanted to start by 7 o'clock. I just want to introduce everyone to Yasin. Yasin, if you want to pop your camera on, and if anyone else as well, if you guys are comfortable, because Yasin's our guest, so it'd be nice if he could see your faces as well. So if you guys can, so request if you can put your cameras on as well. It would be nice.
I think Yasin's seen my face enough already. Is it okay if I can know?
Yeah,
We love your face, Amar bhai. We love it. MashaAllah.
It's taking up half my screen, don't it? But anyways, Yasin, Assalamu alaikum, Jazakallah for joining. You are in the UK today, but we're going to talk to you like you're living in Bulgaria. So Yasin, how are you doing today? Are you okay?
I'm good, Jazakallah. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Welcome to Khuddam Night. Khuddam Night is something which we do for the Khuddam in the West Midlands. We try to bring on guests every now and then just to talk to us about how they're doing and what they're involved in, and especially with the youth, because as you know, Khuddam is revolved around youth work. So Yasin, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you were brought up, about your education. Tell us everything. We want to know who you are, who Yasin is today.
Yeah, sure, Jazakallah. So yeah, as an introduction, so my full name is Yasin Samyan Ahmed. I'm 23 years old. From the UK, I'm from Preston, Jamaat. Obviously, I'm in Bulgaria now because I'm studying there. And yeah, so just as a flashback, I guess, I went to Lancaster Grammar School for my education. And I was always looking to do medicine or Jamia. I was always a toss-up between those two. And eventually I decided to do medicine. I'll get into the story later on. But yeah, so now I'm doing medicine in Bulgaria after a friend told me about it. I'm in a city called Plovdiv, which is the second biggest in Bulgaria, about an hour and a half from the capital, Sofia. And yeah, I've just finished my 5th year. So inshallah, I started my 6th year in September. So yeah, so far it's been good, mashallah. I can tell you the whole life story and talk if you want as well.
Yeah, definitely. Just before we get into Bulgaria, I just want to know about you growing up in the UK.
Okay.
especially because you've experienced another whole side to it now. So what was it like growing up, seeing the whole nizam, the whole system here, and did that help you in your development of understanding what the Jamaat is, bringing that into a whole other country?
Yeah, definitely. So I was, like I said, I was from Preston in the UK, which is in the northwest. And our Jamaat was quite small, but I was lucky that my dad and my mum actually were both presidents of Preston at various points. So obviously, I could see through that how the system worked. And also, I'm fortunate enough to be serving as guide of my city as well in Plovdiv. And I guess it's quite a small Jamaat like Preston was. So I guess it was kind of tight knit in the sense that we all sort of went through each other to organize local activities, and then through national and regional activities as well. We contacted the Murabbis and people higher up. So yeah, definitely from the UK, that gave me a good idea as a good foundation into serving Bulgaria, because again, it's very similarly run. The model is kind of based off the UK as well, albeit it is smaller, but we try and do our best over there with the Khuddam that we have. So
definitely.
How many?
Yeah, go on.
How many members do you roughly have at the moment?
Yeah.
So in Bulgaria as a whole, we have around 35 to 40 Khuddam. The thing is, there are some converts there as well. So some Bulgarian nationals have alhamdulillah converted. But they sometimes come and go because of work and things. They might work in Germany or the UK. So I actually got to meet them as well, which is quite obviously a privilege. But right now, yeah, it's about 35, 40. In my city, it's about 15, 16. So quite a few of the Khuddam are where we are. And then in the capital, Sofia, there's about 7. And then, yeah, some on the outskirts as well. So it's kind of all spread out, really. But we try and keep in touch.
Yeah. Yes, I'm quite interested to know, because obviously when you're in the UK, you want to be studying in the UK, you want to go to uni in the UK.
Mm.
Obviously, it's a big, huge step to go and leave the nest and go and study in a different country. So, what was that bit of motivation that made you convinced that? Because you're talking about you either going to go to Jama, or you're going to go study medicine. That in
Yeah.
itself is a big decision as well. But let's go to you deciding to go to Bulgaria. How did that happen?
Yeah, so it's a funny story actually. I actually met a friend at Jalsa who I hadn't seen for a while. I did duty with him in the past, but I saw him after a while in one of the tents, I think. And I was like, oh, how are you? How are things? And he was like, yeah, I'm actually doing medicine right now in Bulgaria. And it was the first I'd heard of it. I was like, oh, wow, really? I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah.
And then he told me about it and he said how obviously it's still the same as it is in the UK. So in the sense that you can transfer your degree to the UK once you've done, because it's GMC approved, meaning it's approved by the UK General Medical Council, which is the big thing why it's so useful. It's just that the requirements were lower to get into Bulgaria because the UK is so competitive, if people don't know, for medicine and dentistry especially. So that was an option for me in the back of my mind. I was like, okay, let me try and get into the UK. If not, I've got a backup option of Bulgaria. But yeah, it was funny because it was always between medicine and Jamia. And I'd seen, for example, Hamaya Bai and so many Jamia students in the BT classes around GCSE time. And just seeing you guys do what you did. And I learned so much from the academic classes, and the sports were great fun as well. So that really made me thinking. I was like, oh, Jamia is actually a really good option. And also I have 2 cousins in Jamia as well. One's called Sabah. You might have seen him on Instagram. He's called the Young Imam on Instagram. And he's always doing social media stuff.
Yeah.
And Mustafa Siddiqui is my other cousin. So he's just finished now actually. And he was always telling me about the benefits of Jamia. So I was really unsure. And I think the only way to decide is obviously asking Azur. So I had him look out with Azur, and he straight away said, yeah, medicine. I think you should do that. So obviously I based it off that in the sense that Azur knows best, and I just committed to it. So after I didn't get into the UK the first time, I thought, okay, rather than taking a year out, I could reapply. But I was quite keen to start straight away. So that's why I got in contact with my friend. And he said, yeah, this is what you do to apply. And yeah, I got in. Alhamdulillah. So rest is history from there.
I've actually been to Bulgaria. I've spent
Oh, wow.
2 weeks there. So I went with my Jama mates and went to go see Murabi Abdullah. So he was in Jama at the time. So he was like, I think he's the first ever Bulgarian Murabi, pure
Yeah.
Bulgarian. So he took us around Bulgaria and everything. And my perception of Bulgaria was like, I actually didn't know anything about it before. But we went to Sofia, this capital, and it's pretty nice. They have one. It's called I think it's called the Tranquility Triangle or something, where they have a mosque, a church, and a synagogue all in one place, and they call it
Yeah.
sort of a land of peace, so that to show that people can all live with each other. But what were your first impressions? Obviously, leaving home and then going into an unknown land, off the cuff of what your friend has told you.
Yeah, so obviously it was a bit of a transition initially. So I wasn't sure what to expect like you. But once I got there, it really helped having people from the UK there. So I think me settling in was largely down to the Jamaat. Without the Jamaat, I don't think I would have transitioned as well, because there was students in the years above me already there, and they sort of show me the way around and what to do. So that really helped. And yeah, as a country, it's actually quite nice. There's also a lot of sort of mountain areas and quite nice rural parts as well. So I got to explore that a little bit. And I think the main part was sort of getting the basics of the language so you can get around. Obviously, I'm not fluent because it's a tough language, and you're mainly with UK people as a course in English. But we did lessons of Bulgarian in the first 2 years, just the basics of how to get around. So I can now call a taxi or go to the shop and order some stuff. So that was the main thing. Once you sort of get that out of the way, then it's not too bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one in the comments is that
Oh, yeah.
is the population of English speakers small or large in Bulgaria?
It's interesting because I would say the vast majority of the young people there can speak it very well because they teach it in schools nowadays. However, the older generation is where there's a problem because they don't speak a lot of English. So if you find a good group of people that speak it, that's great. But if not, say if there's like an old shopkeeper or taxi driver that can't speak it, then it's like you gotta try and maneuver your way around with the limited Bulgarian that you know. But I'd say maybe just less than half speak English. Obviously, the professors at my university speak it very well, so they obviously have to teach it.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally,
how did you adjust to like the food and the culture?
yeah, it was interesting because the food was, I mean, personally, I prefer our food, like the Indian and Pakistani food, because I'm used to it, of course. But it's funny because Bulgarians, from what I've seen, just love cheese.
Yeah.
They just put cheese on everything. So there's something called kashkaval, which is like a bread and like cheese inside, which is nice, but it gets a bit repetitive after a while. And then one of the first things I tried there actually was there was a canteen at uni, and it was cheap actually, so I thought I should try it out. And there wasn't a lot of things that I liked, so I literally just ended up getting, there was like cucumber and tomato pieces like cut up with cheese on top. So I just got that for my lunch. I just ate that. So I learned from that obviously there are some other good spots as well. There's some good restaurants there actually that have like Turkish and Greek cuisines. So in my spare time, I go with mates to try different restaurants, which is good. But yeah, the culture, like I said, the language barrier was the main thing. Once you overcome that, then yeah, you can get by.
I'll tell you a funny story. When we arrived in Bulgaria, went to a proper Bulgarian restaurant because us coming, we want to try proper Bulgarian food.
Oh yeah.
And we invited all of the UK students who are studying in Bulgaria to the restaurant as well.
Oh nice.
So there was Muhammad Khalid and other guys as well that came.
Yeah.
So we were about to start eating and they arrived, and they were like, "Yeah, we've ordered your food. It's here." So they were just literally sitting there looking at the food, and we're like, "What's wrong?" We're like, "Oh no, we're just not hungry." I was like, "Why?" He goes, "Oh, we just went to McDonald's."
Oh.
They were like, "There's barely any McDonald's in the whole of Bulgaria." So when they come to the capital, they tend to just go to McDonald's and get food there. So
Yeah.
it was so funny. We were like, "Oh my god!" Like the food that we've grown up eating, that's the thing that you will carry on eating afterwards as well. So it's quite a funny story. But that's what I remember them talking about as well.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because in Plovdiv, my city, we've got 2 McDonald's, like one in town and one like on the outskirts.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like an easy option to go for. Like you said, you go for the food that you're used to a lot of the time. But I haven't actually had too much of it. I try and stay away from, well, I still eat takeouts occasionally, but obviously home cooking food is good as well. That's something I learned during uni. Like making salad and dal and things. So I try and do that when I can as well.
Yeah, so it's often one of those things that we hear in the UK, uni students especially, when they, complaining about having too much fast food or too much option.
Yeah.
It's the thing, in your situation, limited options, not knowing really what to get. So it's quite a strange comparison. But the goal is the same. You're trying to get that degree, and you're going to do whatever you can to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
But we mentioned about this before, about you being guide. So how did that happen? Who appointed you? And was it a hard transition for you to, along with your education, to have Jamaat work as well?
Yeah, so it actually happened last year. I'm not sure. I think it was the Sadr Saab. You mentioned there were two Murabbis, Abdullah Saab and Jawad Saab. So I think they must have decided together. Or it might have been Jawad Saab, he's the Sadr, so he probably had the ultimate decision. And I think the guide at the time also had a say. So they decided me for whatever reason. And then I thought, okay, yeah, let me do the best I can. And it was actually okay because I was already thankfully serving in the National Amala. So I was initially Dajneed, Motamid Dajneed, and now I'm a Mora Tulaba as well. So I kind of had a general idea of what to expect with the reports and meetings and things. And as guide in Plovdiv, Bulgaria, it's mainly just keeping on top of things and sending reminders, organizing events. So we had events such as Muslim Mode and Muslim Mode Day. It's kind of your responsibility to allocate who's doing what. So I didn't realize that had so much organization to it until I actually did it. So it made me appreciate it a lot more for sure. But no, it's been a thankfully smooth transition. I had obviously help around me. So if I'm unsure, I can ask a senior member or Abdullah Saab or Jawad Saab. So it's been thankfully good.
Is Bulgaria like, how here we have the Jamaat as a separate system, and then we have Khuddam Ahmadiyya, Atfal Ahmadiyya. Is it more like more of a one thing over there that you're kind of combining everyone together?
Yeah, kind of. Well, Khuddam Ahmadiyya only just got registered in the past year or two as an official sort of organization. So yeah, we mainly have a tight knit Khuddam there. I think Lajna do their own thing, obviously. There's like a few of them there. I think like 5 or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in terms of Ansar and Atfal, we don't really have that because it's mainly all our age group anyway.
Yeah.
So we kind of all just sort of come together and obviously each Gyada does their own thing locally. But for the national and regional events, we have like Ijtimas as well. We had the first ever national Ijtima a few years ago. It was held in my mate's apartment actually, funnily enough. And so there's about 35, I think. So it's more back then. So yeah, we all met there and then had food, dart travel, and then did sports as well. So yeah, it's good to when we all come together as well.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear, how the Khuddam Ahmadiyya is transcended to another whole country and just comes to life, and all those things that we do here is still being done there. So I'm sure that helped you a lot settling in and and developing yourself as a Jamaat person as well, because it's very easy. And I remember talking to the boys who were there as well, studying medicine, that it's really easy to lose track of what Jamaat's telling you what to do and that connection. But some people, when you leave your home, you tend to be more attached and you start to think more about the Jamaat and what it's given you. And was that the case for you when, obviously living in the UK with Khilafat there and everything? Do you feel like going to Bulgaria, you felt more connected in some way to Khilafat, and you had that message carrying with you and that motivation from Huzur as well?
Yeah, I think initially I wasn't sure. So one of the downsides of moving abroad was like, I'm thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to be connected to Jamaat now. Because obviously with Huzur in the UK, you kind of feel like psychologically you're like, oh, the further away I go, the less connection there is. But I think in our sense, because the Jamaat is so tight knit and we always try and do things that we would do in the UK anyway, I would actually say I've probably done more here than I have done in the UK, in the sense that all the activities we do, we try and meet up once a week, or just for food and after Jummah especially. And by the grace of Allah, we actually managed to organize a mulaqat with Azul, which was only possible because we were in Bulgaria. So we had a special mulaqat just for the Bulgarian students, which is about 20 of us came. It was before COVID, so 2-3 years ago now. And yes, we were able to talk to those all individually and ask questions. And the advice he gave was, keep doing your namaz here. Obviously stay on top of your studies, and the work life balance is very important as well. So obviously remember Jamaat and do other things to remember God, but ultimately remember why you're there, which is to get the degree and ultimately help people afterwards. So it was really good to hear from him in that respect.
And obviously, Khilafat is one of those things you definitely appreciate a lot more now living there. But is there anything
Mm.
else which you appreciate more while living there, or that you think
Probably Nando's,
of?
because we don't have Nando's in Bulgaria. But no, on a serious note, yeah, just probably family in general, because obviously I didn't go see them for a while. I think initially the first year I was there, I went 6 months without seeing them, which was like the longest I'd ever gone. So I think that transition was tough to get over. But I think after that, now I sort of value the time at home a lot more than I did once living there all the time. Because sometimes you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Yeah.
So that respect for sure. And yeah, obviously Ahmadi friends initially, obviously had to leave a lot behind in the UK. But I'm grateful that obviously I was able to make more in Bulgaria and sort of take this sort of same spirit from the UK into Bulgaria as well. So I think that's really helped as well.
Brilliant. But obviously going through the pandemic, Corona, and the UK is just uplifted. We're feeling a bit more relaxed. You probably feel it as well. But how was that? You said it's your fifth year, so you've obviously seen for the past 2 years the whole development. So how was that for you initially, and how was it now? And how's the situation?
So in terms of the pandemic there, I think they actually went into lockdown a lot earlier than the UK did. So I think the initial month it happened, I think the UK was still sort of dilly-dallying. The government hadn't fully committed, but Bulgaria went straight away. All right, closing everything down, lockdown straight away. So it was funny because during my fourth year, when we started second semester, around February, March, this whole thing happened. So the university shut down. So we did everything online basically. So I could actually fly back home. I spent 6 months at home, just learning online with Teams and Zoom and everything, which was obviously good to spend time at home, but also we kind of wanted to have practical things because obviously as part of medicine, you're doing hands-on stuff as well. So I think the pandemic definitely affected that. So we weren't able to do as much as we should have done. But now, once things are getting back to normal now, I think fifth year we're able to do a bit more. And sixth year as well. In my last year, inshallah, we're going to consolidate and do what we can. But I think cases-wise, it's a lot less than the UK. Obviously, I think people less come to Bulgaria in the UK as well. And
we're just going down the drain.
oh, really?
We're just going
Yeah,
down the drain.
I saw the stats actually you gave before.
Yeah.
So yeah, way higher than Bulgaria, and I think it's one of the highest in the world, isn't it? Behind India and USA.
America, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I mean, with your point about not being able to do stuff like practical stuff, I can speak that
Yeah.
from experience as well. I mean, I'm doing biomedical science going to second year. The first
nice.
year, I think we did zero practicals, and that's kind of our what is a major part of a biomedical science degree is the practicals and experiments, and we did none of that. I mean, for that very reason, we may have to do an extra year just to kind of get that extra experience. Yeah. Yeah. The plan was so we have 2 semesters, and the plan that we may be able to do experiments in the semester 2 and do the semester 1 as well then. But instead, we just couldn't because of lockdown. Also, I think we kind of missed out about 2 more modules. Instead of doing like 8, we only did about 6 modules, which is so it really has impacted studies, especially university.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't realize it was the UK as well to that extent. So jazakallah for that. I think we were fortunate in the sense that we were able to make up bits afterwards. So we were still able to do practical things like in fifth year, which we should have done in fourth year. So I don't think we have to do anything extra like modules or extra years or months wise. So we were quite fortunate in that respect. But yeah, it's affected a lot of people, fortunately. But inshallah, the worst is over now. But let's see. I mean, like you said, it's still pretty high in the UK, but inshallah, it doesn't get any worse.
Inshallah. As you're in your fifth year, you've grown a bit wiser, a bit mature out there. So you're almost in a position where you're going to be advising other people. Do you have any advice for anyone, both in medicine or anything else in studies, or just as your role as guide, that you can give to anyone through your experience or what you've learned?
Yeah, so I'd say 2 things mainly. The first thing is obviously something we've all heard before in terms of keeping a close connection with Jamaat. So I think, for example, what you guys are doing with the Khuddam nights is really great. because again, you get to catch up and keep in touch, but still do the Jamaat stuff as well, which is remembering God and keeping up to date with his aura and what he said. So I think that's the main thing. If you keep in connection with that, that's really important because it sort of keeps you away from things that you shouldn't be doing, as other people, tend to do, as you'll see in life. So I think that's important. The second thing is doing everything you can in terms of work-wise and making the most of your time. So I think I found that I got a bit lazy over the whole lockdown situation. So it's made me realize as well. But for example, making use of your free time, like being efficient, not necessarily working harder, but working smarter. That's important. So I had a friend actually who he didn't actually, I don't think he ever failed an exam in this university, which is quite an achievement because some of the exams are quite tough. And he was always, any free hour he got, he made the most of it. Like he set a target, I'm going to learn this in this amount of time. And he made sure to do it. So I learned the weekends are quite important as well. Because obviously the weekends, I used to think we're just like chilling and do whatever. But any free time you get, just consolidate what you've done throughout the week. Think about the final exams and what you need to know. And repetition is important. A saying I heard as well was don't do something until you get it wrong, but do it until you're always right. So for example, if you're learning a material, make sure that no matter how many times you do it, get it to the point where you just know it by heart, because that's what you need for medicine, especially because it's a lot of memorizing. So obviously I'm still trying to implement that as well, but it's obviously a learning process, and them are main two things to say.
It's brilliant advice. I think that could be relating to every single person here, both students and those who are working in the life as well. But in terms of trusting Huzur's word, which is something which you based your whole career on, do you feel like you made the right decision? Do you feel like others should also take that step and follow Huzur's guidance?
Yeah, I think so. So obviously you can think about, what would have happened if I did this, or when Jamia went a different route in the UK. But I think whatever happens for the best, especially with Huzur telling you, and once you have that blessing, that kind of gives you the confidence to go forward. I think it's about what you make of it as well. So for example, even if it's not something you initially want or expect from life, it's about the choices you make, which is ultimately making a better future for yourself. So I think no matter what, ultimately you remember God and be thankful for the position you're in, but also work hard, and inshallah, you'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah. Would you recommend studying abroad for those that cannot get into the UK? Do you think they should carry on pursuing their career, or should you change your career
Yeah, it's a good backup option if you're willing to commit to it. And because I saw quite a few who dropped out as well. But it's something that you have to be 100% committed to, because it is an initial culture shock, and it's not the UK. It's not going to be the same comforts and luxury that we experience. But if it's something you really want to do, like medicine or dentistry, you can't get into the UK initially, then this is a good backup option, which is what I did. So yeah, if you've got nothing else in mind in terms of career, but you want to do this badly, then yeah, I would recommend it for sure.
Brilliant, Yasin Sab. Has anyone else got any questions? I'll go to Zaryab first if he has anything to say.
Yeah.
Any comments you guys want to give, please?
Oh, Murabi Sab, you put me on the spot there. Assalamualaikum, guys. I think I do have a question actually. What do you think you've learned by living alone rather than being with your parents?
I think being independent in the sense that I can cook a lot more now compared to always having home food made for me. So that's the main thing. Also, I think time management, like I said, knowing what to do throughout the day. So for example, I didn't even think about, like washing up and cleaning your apartment and paying bills and rent and things. So I guess living alone gives you that sort of mindset and that experience to do that. But yeah, I would say cooking is the main thing, to be honest. But I recommend everyone do it at some point, just living alone when the opportunity comes, of course, because then you learn a lot about yourself as well and what you need to do, like time management wise.
Yeah, I know, I completely feel you, because when I lived 1 year alone, and that's why I asked, because I felt like when I was alone, I was much more of a man. Now I'm just a slob, man.
Yeah,
I'm back at home.
I can relate. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I think being independent is one of the most important things in life. Obviously, everyone's time will come. I'm not saying you should all move out from your parents' houses now, but all in good time, obviously. And yeah, I feel like you find a lot about yourself, and it's kind of like character building as well. Because it's like you're surviving in the real world. It's the way I look at it. So that's the way you get by.
Jazakallah, Zariya, brilliant question. Yasin, we have a few aspiring JAMA students on the call. We have actually a few JAMA students on the call as well.
Oh, nice.
Alhamdulillah. So you mentioned that you had a passion to go, you had a thought to go, but you also have two cousins who have passed out as well. So
yeah,
do you see anything from their life which attracts you, and with something which you can see from them because they're your family as well, and how that impacts your family? Can you just share a few things that you've seen that would probably help these guys aspiring to go to Jamia as well?
Yeah, so I just think the overall brotherhood of Jamia and the students there is something I've never seen before. I don't think can ever be recaptured. So I think especially learning about them and with them, the Dabiti class, where we stayed at Jamia for a week in the same complex. And I think it's kind of breaking the stereotype almost, because people, especially English people, might think of a Murabbi or a mullah as like a big beard and out of touch old man almost. But I think having this sort of vibrant youth and new energy, like the Khalifa said, a nation can't be reformed without reforming the youth. So I think starting young and having this sort of brother mentality was really great to see. And like I said, like doing activities such as sport, and I learned so much actually in that Dabiti class. That was the peak of my Jamaat knowledge, I think. But yes, we've been downhill since then. But yeah, I think mentioning my cousins as well, I think seeing Sabah do what he does online with social media. He's always making Instagram videos about Islam and Ahmadiyya, refuting any allegations. So that's something I admire and take interest in. Mustafa as well. So that's the thing, there's so many different pathways. Mustafa's doing Arabic. I think that's his main specialty. So he's really good at languages as well. So there's so many different pathways you can go into. So it's not just Jamia and Murabbi. There's so many little avenues you can go as well. So it's kind of building off your interests. So yeah, if you're committed to it, then definitely go for it.
Nice. Brilliant, Yasin Saab. Someone who's been on the other side and seen that experience on a family level as well as a professional level as well. Has anyone else got any questions? Hunain, Musli, anyone else? You guys, quickly, if you can just say something. Or if anyone has any comments, just say Jazakallah to Yasin.
Well, hopefully it was useful.
Yeah. Guys, did you find it useful? Zishan, Daniel, did you guys find the talk relatable?
Assalamualaikum. Yes, it was interesting. Yeah, relatable. I lived out for not for a year, less than a year as well, and yeah, agreed to the points that were made.
Yeah. Wasn't quite like leaving the country, was it?
Yeah.
For a big step, still good to do for sure.
Yeah, but I do recommend everyone at least living out for a bit and just experiencing it, because I think you probably found out a lot about yourself as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Zishan and everyone else as well. Brilliant, Jazakallah. Yasin, something we'll call it there. It's been brilliant. We could talk all day. I'd rather have in person, to be honest, but we'll make do with what we have. You're probably tired of Zoom calls as well.
Yeah, had quite a few. So
your lectures on Zoom. But Jazakallah, Yasin Saab. We really appreciate your advice and your experience being shared today. Guys, we'll just finish off now. We do have a Kahoot. So Yasin Saab, you're probably aware what Kahoot is by now. I was reading yesterday, actually, Kahoot and Zoom are in partnership now. So they're starting something up.
Nice.
So look out for that. It's going to be part of their apps as well soon. So guys, if you want to join Kahoot, please do. All part of learning and competing as well. So Jazakallah, guys. Daniel Saab, over to you.
Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes. I
Can
can
you-
hear you.
Yeah, you can see the code. It's 9710803.
Jazakallah. So guys, do please join. It's a bit of fun, but let's see who's on top of their general knowledge and religious knowledge. Guys, just to let you know, the book, they've ran out of copies. So if you haven't got your book yet, it's because so many people have ordered it, alhamdulillah, which is a good thing.
I actually just picked up mine today.
Gotcha, good.
Yeah, they're printing more right now. Should be available within a few days.
Another reason might be my house I'll accidentally order two. So if anyone needs a copy, they can just ask me and I'll post it to them.
For free, actually. For free,
Yeah, for free.
right?
I just pray that we get to, one of the most popular books. Inshallah, be really good.
Bulgaria Zindabad.
Bulgaria. Yasin, do you want to teach us a bit of Bulgarian? Anything you've learned?
Yeah, so they actually nicked a bit of French and Italian, so incorporated that into their language. So it's an informal term, so you can literally say ciao as bye.
Yeah, okay.
And you say merci as thank you.
Oh, nice.
What's
And if
the
you
accent? Is it more Italian or French or both?
not really either. It's kind of like Russian.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Like
okay.
hard Eastern European.
Yeah.
And if you want to say how are you say kakse. And kakse, yeah, how are you? And saying my name is or I am is Asum, your name. So Asum Yasin, I am Yasin. So that's the basics, yeah.
How about love for all, hatred for none in Bulgarian?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think love is obicham.
Hey,
So
I wonder where you learned that from.
I mean, you don't want to know. No, but obicham, everyone is like Stichko is all, yeah. I don't know about hatred though. I'm not sure about that.
Is anyone trying to log in? Because I think we don't have the premium one over here. We can't get more than 10 people, I think.
We had 11 people. I think it's...
That's how we did it, yeah.
Yeah. It should be fine. But anyways, we'll start now and then inshallah we'll see how it goes.
How do I get rid of the Zoom screen? Chalo, let's make a start. Bismillah.
Bismillah. So how many questions today?
About 14, guys. About 14.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Good luck, guys.
May the best Nabi wins. The first animal appear. That's from Qasim.
How he's supposed to know that?
Weird question.
4 billion years, right?
Yes, are you paying?
Yeah, I didn't click it in time. I would have got it wrong anyway, but yeah.
It's actually unknown. Yeah, we don't know where life started. We just found fossils that are dated to a certain period, but we actually don't know when it started.
Number of players in a basketball team? 7, 14, 5, 11.
Is it who's playing or who's in the team?
What do you mean?
Is it?
Yeah, the ones that are playing.
Starting, yeah.
Yes, Cash, the basketballer. Inshallah, the basketball murabi.
It is 5.
I had to learn that one.
Wait, what? How is it 5?
5 aside. 5.
Is basketball like big in Bulgaria?
Oh yeah, what sport is there?
Not really basketball. I think they're not very good at it, but they're quite into football.
Yeah, famous Bulgarians, Berbatov.
I mean,
yeah,
every European country would love football.
Yeah,
that's kind of guaranteed.
Murabisa, I have to leave, but there's another event happening today. So I have to do the tilawat in it. So,
MashaAllah.
So yeah.
MashaAllah.
So good luck, guys, and Jazakallah. Yes.
Jazakallah, man.
This was from the K News as well. Qasim sent it.
Jazakallah, guys. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. West guys chose 96.
Now it was 95 and 2 people died later.
Qasim's got like the advantage, hasn't he?
Yeah, shouldn't be allowed to play.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be allowed to play.
It's only like 4 questions though.
Yeah. Which chapter of the Holy Quran has 2 says that love it? Al-Rahman, Al-Sajda, Al-Hajj, or Al-Fatiha? Al-Hajj.
4 people went. Wait, why is it so Al Sajda does not have two Sajdat allowed?
Yeah.
That's just wow.
got one.
Yeah, there's one. Oi, 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 oi.
Ooh.
Yes, Yasin. All that
Catching
hard work
up
paying off.
slowly.
In which month is the Earth nearest to the Sun? April, February, January, December.
Didn't learn this in Jamia, sorry.
Okay, it is January.
Of course.
Mashallah.
Oh,
Hey,
Look this up.
that was a bit of a guess actually,
I'm
but
gonna
yeah.
catch up.
Mashallah. Okay. So there, in this question, you can select two options. So which two chapters of the Holy Quran were revealed at the same time? Which two chapters of the Holy Quran were revealed at the same time? An-Nas, Al-Quraysh, Al-Falaq, Al-Fil.
Daniel, that's your favorite surah, isn't it? Surah Fil.
Hey, let's go.
So varied. Oh my god.
6 people got it right.
Professor, is there any reasons? Can you explain this?
I think they because they follow the same subject matter. I think that's why they were revealed at the same time.
Mm.
That's what's written in the tafsir of it.
100 points catching
Oh,
up.
man, I need to go to Bulgaria, man.
Yeah, come through.
Let's go on a Khuddam trip.
Coming out strong, mashallah.
Let's go on a Khuddam trip to Bulgaria.
Let's go. Let's go.
What's the currency of Brazil? Pound, rupee, real, or dollar?
Rupiah.
Pesa.
Rupees.
It's actually real.
Someone choose dollar.
How many medals have Britain won in the Olympics so far?
Oh no, gold medals.
Oh,
Yeah, gold medals.
Qasim, is this,
Gold medals, yeah. Gold medals.
Qasim, is it this year, like overall?
Yeah, this was my question, but I think I forgot what I wrote as well.
Yes,
It's
gold.
no, we don't know about that. It's 4.
Wait, is it 5?
No, 4.
Oh, damn it.
I swear it's 5.
I thought it was
Was
six.
it?
I'm sure it's 6 now.
I think it was like 5 or 6.
It was 5 in
Yeah.
the presentation. I know that.
I think it's 6
Void
now.
question, void question.
It's 6.
Oh, man. Who chose 4?
Hold on, let's see.
Lynch, Qasim.
At 1.4 was right.
Yeah, at one point it was 4, but yeah, now it's changed. Ooh, I'm still second.
Because you wrote the question. Which chapter of the Holy Quran was revealed twice, once in Makkah, then again in Medina? Which chapter was revealed twice, once in Makkah, then again in Medina? Al-Hajj, Al-Fatiha, Al-Kawthar, Al-Ikhlas. It's Al-Fatiha. Zishan.
Sean,
Oh no, Ika.
wait, Qasim, you're gonna get beaten today.
He just needs to get one person the question wrong.
The
Or I just need to be faster.
at around 56 kilometers, true or false?
What's the common line?
Ask Qasim.
Should have paid attention.
The space.
And the kind of the line where after which space X starts
Oh, that's
in summary. It's actually
Actually,
false.
what's the right answer?
100 kilometers. I think
Oh.
56 is like the miles, so I just converted into miles and
And tricked us.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that one.
He knows he's gonna get these 5 questions, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna get Qasim off now. I'm gonna click the button.
No, don't.
What is the
Oh, yeah.
smallest country in the Central America. You can see in the map actually. It's right there in the corner.
Gonna run out of time.
Is it Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, or Honduras?
El Salvador.
It is actually El Salvador, yeah. It's right there in the corner.
Oh my
Ah,
god.
dang it.
I said it.
This is where it is. The little orange thing at the back, at the bottom.
What? You can't even see it.
That's the point.
Yes.
Okay, that's in second.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
oh no.
Hey.
It's still 100 points. It's still 3 questions
It's
left.
still very tight, yeah.
Yeah, but his
Still
question.
tied.
Ancient Egypt, which animal was considered sacred? A cow, cat, rat, or goat?
Sphinx.
What's the Sphinx?
Yeah.
That's a
Half cat, half man. Or the head of a man.
right. So the actual answer is actually cat.
Oh, okay, I lost.
And then the dogs came along.
Murabbi, Labik, Saab.
The beak, Murabbi Saab.
Oh, we still. Oh no, no, there's still hope.
Yeah, I got it wrong as well.
Which sport has the second highest number of spectators every year in the UK? After, so this is the second one, so that's going to be after football.
I mean, if it's not cricket, what is it?
I thought it was rugby.
Oh, let's go.
Yes. The damn ball. That's
I bottled it.
Let's
Oh,
go.
I'm on the
First
podium.
place.
No.
Champion.
Please.
No, you can't let Cousin win.
Has a streak of 3 critical very much.
I'll just guess the next one quickly.
What was the capital of England before London? Edinburgh, New York, Bristol, or Winchester? I think there's only one real option here.
Go on,
The others aren't in England.
Oh no.
Oh, get it
Only
right.
one person
what
got it
was
right.
No.
We chose Edinburgh. What the hell? Edinburgh, Scotland. Come on, man.
Who thinks that Edinburgh is in England?
Everyone.
Only one person got it right.
Someone chose New York.
Oh, yeah, it was either Edinburgh or yay, let's go.
Who chose it?
Podium.
Yasin, come on, I'm
What
disappointed.
about the big sub?
I mean, I got closer than
You haven't been out
everyone
the
else.
game for that long.
Yeah.
The second.
Should be first for that.
Yeah, I don't believe this. Qasim.
Yeah, Chanua.
Yeah, could delete karo, please.
Zishan and the one device. How do I delete Qasim?
I had one device, you see.
That's not why you could one device.
Just letting people know I got unfair disadvantage.
I was wondering about that bit.
Alright, so I think we can agree that Zaryab came first and then Qasim got.
That's not fair.
We'll give it to Yasin because he got the same as.
All right, next time,
exactly.
should we not do news questions then?
No, we do. It's good challenge. Jazakallah. Jazakallah, Yasin, for joining, and everyone else as well for joining. There won't be Khuddam night next week because we'll be in Jalsa. But inshallah, the week after, inshallah, we'll join up again. Everyone, Jazakallah, Assalamu alaikum, take care of yourselves.
Welcome.
Jazakallah.
Welcome.